Welcome to Easy Eats. My name is Chef Yves Dechaine, and today we're in the Sobeys Brookside Community Kitchen with Brian Conoley, manager of community initiatives down at the YMCA.
Hey.
How are you today?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to cook some food.
Fantastic. So Brian, you're going to share a recipe today, but before we get going on that, tell us, what is the manager of community initiatives do?
So the YMCA, a lot of people first think of the Y as a gym, a fitness center, and we are that. We have an excellent fitness center. But we also run a lot of programs, children programs, youth programs, programs for teens, programs for single parents. So my department, the Community Initiatives Department, has an outreach segment. So I do a lot of cooking for 12 to 15-year-old youths, teens, in a program called Power Up, where they're learning leadership skills, empathy, how to be pillars of the community, active, engaged community members, and there's a food component to that. And then we have another program called Family Friend for single parents. So the moms and dads bring in their kids. They have a nice home-cooked meal in our licensed kitchen at the Y that me and my team prepare. And then, the parents will do some programming, the kids will get whisked away and play in the play structure or play outside or in the gym. And it's just a really good way to build community, to show support. And all of these programs that the outreach department handles are completely funded by the community. So we have corporate funders, private funders, community funders, people who donate because they see the good work in progress that the Y does. So my job is just to grow that as much as possible, bring as much people in, hook them up with memberships, hook them up with programs that cater to their interests, and just create a good scene and make the Y as many things to people as it can be.
Excellent. And food is definitely one of those big unifiers. And I know as a new parent, or when I was a new parent, it was trying to make sure that you were giving those healthy options to the kids, and not only to the kids, to yourself, because it's a whole new lifestyle when you have kids. So how do you cook? You can't do what you did before. So,
and a lot of, I talk to a lot of parents, and the hardest part of a lot of people's day is, what are we going to have for dinner? We want to make it good. We want to make it healthy. I want it to be easy, quick, something that the kids are going to like. So that is how I try to focus on my recipes. I want it to be accessible, healthy, and fairly quick. So this meal is one of my favorites to make because of all those reasons. So, we have members too that are from all different walks of life and different places in the world. So I try to incorporate different ethnic foods too. So if I know there's a family from Ethiopia, well, I want to learn what their favorite meal is. If there's a family from Peru or from Mexico, I want to know what their favorite food is and try to incorporate that too. So you can give a little piece of home, and we become friends and family around the dinner table and the breakfast table, right? So trying to make people feel at home as much as possible, food is a great way to start that conversation.
I always call it the great equalizer. Everyone's hungry, so
everyone's hungry.
You put food on the table, and it creates and it starts conversation.
Yeah.
So what brought you to the Y?
Well, so right after college, I took broadcast journalism, but I wasn't feeling like that's what I wanted to do right away. So I Googled Hawaii plus camps, because I wanted to work at a camp. I was a lifeguard. I'd worked at camps growing up, and the first Google result was a YMCA Camp Erdman in the YMCA Honolulu. So I just applied. They had an international camp counselor program. So, a month later, I was on a plane on the way to Hawaii to work at a camp, teaching earth education, residential camp, family camp, big executive camps. There's a whole bunch of different programming there, and it was on an 18-month visa. So lived on the North Shore of Hawaii, just absolutely, loving it, with campers from all over the world and counselors from all over the world. And then after that ended, the visa ran out. People always go, "Why'd you leave Hawaii?" Well, they kicked me out. I had to leave Hawaii. So the visa ran out, so I went back home, and I was in Ontario, and my brother went to UNB, and I said, "Ben, I miss the ocean. I don't know what my next move is." And he said, "Go to Halifax. You'd like Halifax. There's an ocean there." So I said, "Okay." So I put all my stuff in a truck, and me and my dad drove to Halifax. Didn't know anybody, didn't have a job, but I met a girl there after one of the jobs I found, who's now my wife. And from there, I just got into outdoor recreation, which eventually led me back to the Y, because I was always doing programming and outdoor facilitation and things like that. I taught some earth ed in Halifax. So the journalism thing allowed me to talk to people and make connections and document a lot of my experiences, but the recreational element and the programming element, just working with kids, that's kind of what stuck. And I was in a transition stage, and there happened to be this job available about a year ago, and no looking back. I absolutely love it now. So it's a kind of a ping pong all over the world to get here, but I wouldn't change a thing.
So the YMCA, let's talk a little bit more. Everyone's heard the YMCA. Let's talk a little bit about its history.
Late 1800s. So it started out as, a young man's Christian association, so it was tied to the church, but it always had the same mission that it has now. It was all about community support, community engagement, empowering your community, right? So the nice thing about the Y too is depending on where you go, they're all a little bit different. The local flavors of where that building or where that center is will be, prevalent through the programming and stuff like that. So like the YMCA in Honolulu, they were building, houses for unfortunate people, so community housing, and they had like dormitories where people would stay in transition. So a lot of YMCA's have that. Here we're mostly a recreation and community program focused Y, but it's, I think, one of the first ones ever actually started in Montreal as well. But I think that there's like over 100 countries now have YMCA's, South America, Central America, Europe, they're all over the world now, and they're all a little bit different, but they all share the same kind of pillars of community, building respect, building empathy, and just trying to make wherever they're at a more positive place for as many people as possible. But it is a great story, and I encourage people to look it up. And I know that our building here is 15 years old, but the Y's been around for a lot longer. And we're growing. We've already outgrown that space, we feel like sometimes, even though we've just renovated the gym and added new equipment and there's new programs. But the good work is paying off, and it's going to keep growing and expanding, and you're going to see them pop up more and more all over the world too, because I think now more than ever, our differences need to be a uniting factor in us. We need to bring everybody together to realize that the things that make us different are the spices of life, the things that add flavor. And the Y is a great place to learn those things and get exposed to that. We work with the Multicultural Association of Fredericton, so a lot of newcomers hanging out with kids whose parents are maybe third, fourth generation Frederictonians. So seeing them bond and realize that they like soccer the same, and they like doing this the same, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just it's a great organization, and like you said, it did found me, it called me, it pulled me towards it. I didn't know that at the time, but I do feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
So we'll be back after this short break with a neat recipe that you're going to show us.
Yeah, can't wait.
Right on. Welcome back to Easy Eats. Again, we're at the Brooksides Community Room with Brian from the YMCA. And Brian, you're about to show us a salad, and during the break you had a great name for it. So
yes, this is the "you do win friends with salad," or the friend maker salad. You know that Simpsons quote?
Yeah.
You don't win friends with salad. This one you do. So this is a recipe, actually, when I came back from Hawaii, one of my friends, Wes, he had a chef friend, like an actually classically trained chef, and he invited him over and he cooked us dinner. And he made us these amazing black bean chicken wings, which I'm not going to replicate here, but he did that fancy like lollipop, pull the wing up kind of thing with the bone exposed. They're so good. And then he made this salad, and it just stuck with me. This was like 15 years ago. And every time I have a new family over for dinner, I make this salad because it's just so delicious. And I'm making some chicken to go with it. I usually use chicken thighs. We're going to use chicken breast today. I like chicken thighs because that darker meat I find just has a little bit more flavor. And when I'm cooking at the YMCA for 30, 40 people, it's more economical as well. But chicken breast works lovely as well. So it's kind of an odd combo. It's going to be mangoes. You can use any nice juicy mango, avocados, limes, feta cheese, red onion, and garlic. Now I like spice, so there's going to be a jalapeno element. You can leave that out if you want to. So those things you don't always think, fetas and mangoes going together. But the saltiness, the sweet, the different textures, the crunch with the onion, the smoothness from the avocado, it's just a really, really awesome dish.
Well, I can't wait to taste it.
Should we get going?
Absolutely.
All right, sweet. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to season up our chicken. We're going to toss it in a bowl and toss it in the fridge. So let's get a little bit of,
So we'll pop that in
yeah,
there
pop
for
her
you
in
right
there. Just get a little bit of olive oil on there, a couple glugs. Yeah, so because this is kind of, avocados and mango, it's kind of like, a Mexican kind of flared dish. We're going to season the chicken with some of that same. So I got here a mixture of ground coriander, ground chili powder, black pepper, and cumin. So kind of remind you of your favorite taqueria.
Perfect. So you can use any kind of meat in this, really. We're just using chicken, and like you said, you like thighs. We have breast because breasts were on sale this week.
That's what you go with, man. Go with the flyer tells you to go, right? But yeah, you could do, you could do a flank steak with this. You could do chicken wings would go amazing with this. Whatever your protein of choice is.
You can just go with salad, right?
You can just go with the salad, my friend. Absolutely. My wife and I eat fairly vegetarian at home, so I've thrown smoked tofu on this, or like crispy fried tofu with it as well. So yeah, whatever's in the fridge. All right, that looks good to me. So we got some nice mangoes here. So in Hawaii, there was mango trees. We would go on a hike, and there would just be a mango tree just dripping with mangoes. They'd be all over the ground. It was crazy.
So your time in Hawaii must have shown you how to clean and work a mango properly.
Yeah, mango has a big pit, right? So it
Yeah.
can be a little bit annoying. So there's two techniques that I use. The one that I use right now, and I always let my wife just like have the pit in the fridge and like chew on it. So I'm only going to use the two ends just to make it quick and easy today. But you take the mango, you cut off the two ends as close to the pit as possible, and I'm just going to score it as close to the skin as possible, 2 or 3 lines, and then make a cross section. So you see like that, it's all scored into some chunks now. I usually cut it in 2. I go close to my bowl, grab my knife kind of by where the blade and the handle meet so I have nice control. I don't want to have to wear more Band-Aids than necessary. And then just peel off those chunks there.
How do you pick a ripe mango?
Mangoes are easy. These ones will get a little bit more red as they're riper. So you can see now there's some red starting. But if you feel the mango, if it's nice and soft, that means it's juicy. If it's still hard, kind of similar to an avocado, you probably want to just leave it on the shelf for a little bit longer. There's different types of mangoes too. You can use whatever mango you like. There's smaller yellow mangoes that are a little bit more fibrous. So I have a tendency to use the red mangoes in this recipe, the red-green ones, rather than just the yellow fibrous ones, but they're really tasty as well. And I usually just go with what mangoes on sale are a little bit cheaper that day because they come from far away. So for that, you have to pay. Yeah, and the other trick that I learned on how to prepare a mango, I don't think I have a glass that's ready for it today. Oh, see, that's nice and orange. This is a juicy one. Is you can take, actually, it might work on this. You can take the edge of the mango and kind of just run it down. Oh, look at that. It's going to work beautifully. You can just run it down like that.
You're getting a little bit more yield. Absolutely.
Getting a little bit more yield out of that. And that way, you know, because they come from so far away and they're very precious, we want to get as much out of the mango as possible, of course. All right, so next we'll get our avocados. Have you ever seen someone prepare an avocado that just made you think that person has never seen an avocado before?
Absolutely, and there's different ways. And what's the safest way to do this?
Yeah, so I've seen people like try to peel the avocado with like a veggie peeler. That's not going to work. I usually just chop the little ends off because you don't want that little nubbin ending up in your salad or whatever. But yeah, cut it in half, and then you can just scoop it out with a spoon. This is a perfectly ripe avocado as well. Another beautiful color. There we go. Just set that aside. Oh, this is going to be good.
And it's the first time that I've seen when I do my avocados, I don't cut the ends off, which is kind of a neat, because it looked like it was a lot easier to scoop that flesh out.
I think so. I'm just a little OCD about it. My wife makes fun of me and she says, you don't need to do that. But I don't know. I got in the habit of doing that, so I do that. So here, we'll do it again. So I just want to get that guy out. That's the important one.
Yeah.
But like you said, I do find it a little bit easier to work with once that's gone. And then, you know, you can hold something in your hand and with a knife and still be careful. The pit's going to stop. So as long as you start in the middle, the pit is going to stop your knife from doing anything harmful. Just pry her open. And then the safe way to do that, you just get your pit, just give it a little whack. Of course, a sharp knife is a safe knife. So, you know, you want to make sure that you sharpen your knives every now and again. So I just got it in there, little twist. You know that your avocado is ready to go if the pit comes out nice and easy like that. So let me just do another scoop. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just again, get as much as you can.
Now, this is the type of salad that you can kind of add to it as well, right?
Sure.
So we're doing mangoes, we're doing avocado, and we're green onion. But if you wanted to throw some other kind of fruit in there as well, you can totally do that, couldn't you?
Yep, I've used papaya. When the mangoes aren't ready, I'll go for a papaya because, you know, if one's not ready, usually the other is, with a little bit of luck at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Throw some blueberries in there, you know, get creative, do whatever you want. I'm the kind of cook where use what's on hand, use what you like. You don't have to stick to anything, you know, and you know, follow your own rules, make up your own rules. If you like it, you did it right. Nice chunk of feta here. So I've also used goat's milk feta. If you have a cheddar fan, you want to use sharp cheddar, go for it. The reason I'm using just a regular traditional feta is because it's really salty.
Yep.
Salty and sweet, such a killer combination. And I'm just crumbling it up with my hands.
It'll also be really refreshing. So this is a great kind of spring, summer salad, right?
Yeah, or if it's the dead of winter and you want to feel like it's spring or summer, it's
You're
good
right,
then
yeah.
too. But yeah, this has been on many a patio. And I don't want to overbear it, so I'm going to leave a little bit of feta back. There we go. It's starting to look good. And the salad dressing for this, like if you didn't want to make, I'm just going to use olive oil, lime juice, some pepper, and I usually put in some jalapenos as well. But if you wanted to just use, you know, a ready-made salad dressing, that you have in the fridge already to make it even quicker and easier, go for it, you know.
Right on. So I noticed how you're juicing your limes. You've taken them out, you segmented them, and then you just kind of give them a cut.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've seen someone juice that way. That's kind of a neat way to do that.
Just, I find it lets the juice out a little easier. I think I was bartending here in Fredericton, and you had to cut the limes like that so they sit on the glass.
Absolutely, yeah.
But then we would also have to make lime juice for the mixed drinks that required lime juice, and the ones with the scores in them they were easier
Juiced
to work
a lot
with.
quicker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I've just kept doing it ever since then. And I really try to get all that, press the pulp and get as much as you want out of there. Again, these kind of fruits that come from far away are so precious, we don't want to waste anything.
Absolutely. So this dressing you're making right in the salad, you could kind of move it off to the side for people who aren't really
Yep.
dressing folk.
Some people like to measure everything and know that everything's in a balance according to a measurement, right? So if you want to do a tablespoon of olive oil as opposed to a glug, you know, or the juice of 2 limes, you know, juiced out on a juicer precisely. If that's what makes you happy and confident, go for it.
Well, a lot of people at the Y, I would imagine, because of the YMCA, a lot of people are health conscious and they're watching their macros and they're watching their fat intake and all these other kinds of things. So being a little bit more precise
Yep.
for them works, but at the same time, you measure with your heart, and sometimes that's all you need, right?
Yeah, and there's no, they're both are right, and you're absolutely right. A lot of people at the Y, you know, are putting in lots of hours on their body and their health, and that's why I'm so glad my programs incorporate food, because fitness, you can't just be fit by going to the gym alone. It's what you put into your body as well. It's such a huge component, right? So fitness is a multi-pronged thing, and teaching kids and parents simple recipes and good eating habits. Like this is going to feel like a fancy meal, and it's going to feed, you know, 3 or 4 people, but it probably would only cost $20, $25 at the grocery store, and that's with some fairly, like, you know, higher end ingredients, mangoes and avocados. So good food can be accessible to everyone, but it's not necessarily that easy for everyone to realize that. You need some tricks of the trade. You need friends to eat with, to learn from, and things like that, right? So we got a red onion here. Again, I like a red onion because it's sharp, it's crunchy.
It's bright. It's a salad onion for sure.
Yeah, and that's probably enough in there. So this is coming together nicely. We got our limes, we got our feta. Chop up a little bit of garlic. Now cilantro. Where you land on cilantro? Because not everyone likes it.
I love cilantro. It's great. It's bright. It's got that. I know that some people think it tastes like soap, but I think that's a small percentage of the population.
I hear that's actually a genetic thing. Like
Really?
it's a genetic disposition. Like some people think it tastes like soap because to them it actually does. There's just something in their body makeup that doesn't register as the delicious bright cilantro that we get to enjoy. So I've learned not to judge those non-cilantro people.
We're just going to finish up this salad, and we'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back to Easy Eats. Again, we are in the community room here at the Brookside Sobeys with Brian Conoley from the YMCA, and the salad's just about finished. We've got the base right here, and then we're just going to slowly add some chicken. So I'm going to do that now, but let's talk about garnishes and stuff like that for the salad. What can we garnish this with?
Yeah, well, we were talking a little bit about cilantro. If you're a lucky person that thinks cilantro tastes good, we're going to throw some fresh chopped cilantro on there. I've got a little bit of fresh chopped green onion as well for a little bit of additional zing and crunch, and then some jalapenos. Now, I like heat, so I did not take the seeds out of these jalapenos, so when we eat it, it's going to be a little hot. And then this is my brother Ben showing me this. This is Baja cream. So it's just your regular sour cream, but I've added lime zest, cracked pepper, and lime juice. You can throw a little bit of cumin in there if you want to as well, but we're just going to drizzle this over the chicken as a final step, and it's a really nice, cool element that'll bring this whole thing together.
It also curbed because we did put a little bit of chili powder in those jalapenos, so that'll kind of cool the palate from that spice
all
as
about
well.
balance. Life, salads, everything. It's all about balance. So yeah, well, hey, it looks like we're ready to go.
We are, perfect.
So we'll get a little bit of the sour cream on there.
All right, while you're garnishing that, your program at the Y.
Yes.
Are you looking for volunteers?
We're always looking for volunteers, and we're always looking for participants too. So what's happening on April 3rd, a third wave of Youth Power Up is going to begin. So that's a program for youth age 12 to 15. It's a free program. Anyone can sign up. It comes with a youth access membership to the Y, which is a 6-month full access membership to the YMCA for all participants with chance for renewal. Again, funded through our generous community partners. And we also have a program called Family Friend, and that is for single parents. We provide community resources, fun, child minding, and food. Oh, doesn't that look good?
It looks fantastic. Yeah.
That program runs until June, and it's not quite at capacity. So all of the forms and information is on our website. So fredericton.ymca.ca. You can go to the Community Impact tab. It's on the right. And then you're going to see Family Friend, Youth Access Membership, and Youth Power Up. So those are the programs that I'm cooking for. But we also have a lot of registered programs for youth. We have summer camps coming up. Spring program registration is coming up on the 21st. So there's lots and lots going on. And your best way to get there and get all the information is go to the website. But my email, brian.conoley@ymcafredericton.org. You can send me an email. Anyone can send me an email, ask about these programs. I can give you a call. You can come into the Y. We can meet and talk about it. And we just try to find out what people are looking for, what we have available. The timing of things obviously matters because some programs are dropping, some are registered, some are seasonal. So we got to make sure that what is available now is good for them. But it's really easy to get in touch with us through the website, through email. Give us a call. Our front desk team is amazing as well, and they'll hook you up with the right person. So yeah, and then you can come in and hopefully have a meal like this, meet some new people, get a membership, start working on that bod. Summer's coming around.
Yeah, beach body for sure.
But it's again, the Y is so much more than just a gym. It's just a good place to meet good people, do good things, and work out the mind, the body, and the soul, man.
Right on. So let's back up just a little bit. Your programs, you said, are funded, right?
Yeah.
So what makes you eligible, or what kind of criteria are you looking for eligibility?
So for Family Friend, you simply have to be a single parent and willing to come once a month to our Family Friend program. Things come up, you can't always make it. We run it on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of each month, so we have 2 cohorts with about 20 single parents in each cohort. But people come in and come out, so there's usually always a couple spaces available. That runs from September until June, and you get your membership that entire time, and then over the summer, and then if you come back for the program in September again, we renew the membership. So that's fully funded. You don't have to pay anything, you just got to show up. And be a single parent, so pretty easy criteria there. For Youth Power Up, it is for youth age 12 to 15. And then that one, all you really have to do is be interested to meet some new people and maybe try some new things like, trail running or disc golf or residential camp group challenge initiatives. We did a trivia night the other night, which went really, really well. We bought a ping pong table for the center. So it's a good mix of just hanging out, trying new things, and trying old things that you love. So there's not really much criteria, just be an interested, active youth that wants to meet some new people. We have limited space, so registration currently is open for our spring cohort. It starts April 3rd, it runs for 10 Thursdays, so it's Thursday nights from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. The meals served at 6:30 to 7, and then from 7 to 8:30 we do programming. Right now I still have about 20 spots available for that program.
Okay.
So any youth, 12 to 15, it's not really first come, first served. I base it on a few different things, but I go over all the applications. There is a waiting list. Usually it fills up, so I would really encourage people to head to the website, find those application forms in the Community Impact section, and sign up.
Awesome. I can't wait to try this.
Yeah, it's so good, man. I'm gonna get in there.
Do a little bit of everything here. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's killer. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, man. You do make friends with salad. This salad.
Absolutely.